Musika ug kalingawan. Mas tulong pinalakas. Radyo
COVID-19 restrictions. Does local politics get in the way of campaign sorties? At least one presidential candidate thinks it's a possibility. And the final trailer is out for Marvel's anti-hero Morbius. We'll give you a sneak peek. The country's capital region woke up to what could be reminiscent of pre-pandemic times. With face masks still on and other minimum health protocols in place, things are now considered new normal under Alert Level 1, the lowest in the COVID-19 response alert level system. 38 other areas are also under Alert Level 1 until March 15. The entire list is on your screens. These include the Ilocos region, parts of the Cordillera and Cagayan Valley regions, portions of Central Luzon, Southern Luzon, and Bicol. The same alert level for Aklan, Bacolod City, Capiz, Guimaras, Siquijor, and Pilinan, as well as Zamboanga City, Cagayan de Oro, Camiguin, and Davao City. The alert downgrade also marks the first year since the country rolled out the COVID-19 vaccination drive. As of February 21, 63 million people aged 5 and up have been fully vaccinated. Now, as the country transitions to life under a new normal, the Health Department stresses the need to get booster shots.
Ang booster shots ay mahalagang panlaban lalo higit kung magkakaroon pa ng bagong variant sa hinaharap. Ang pagiging bakunado ay mabisang panangga laban sa malubha at malalang sakit na maaring maging dahilan ng pagkakaospital o pagkakamatay.
The DOH says vaccination is among key factors that enabled a number of regions to shift to Alert Level 1. Well, rules in transport and public areas are more relaxed under Alert Level 1, but as Chrissy Di Matulak tells us, policies may vary according to the local government.
Sonny Velasco has removed the plastic barriers inside his passenger jeepney. On the first day of Alert Level 1 in Metro Manila, Sonny says he's looking forward to his trips for the day.
Pabor na pabor po, ma'am. Para ano naman, balik naman datin sa dati. Ito, tulad ng ganito, napakamahal ng diesel. Dito kami nalulubog sa diesel, ma'am.
Under the lowest alert level, public vehicles such as jeepneys can now operate at full capacity. All age groups, minors and seniors included, can ride public transport without need of identification cards. In train stations, showing proof of vaccines is also no longer practiced upon entering the station. Face masks are still a requirement. Meantime, there are some passengers who say the declaration of Alert Level 1 this month is a bit premature.
Yes po, para sa akin Kasi di natin maiwasan yung madito tao. Andiyan pa rin yung dapat mag-iingat pa rin tayo.
Opo, parang sobrang aga pa kasi parang nagko-cope up pa lang naman halos lahat ng tao. Tapos and then malalaman na lang na magiging alert level number 1 na.
Even with loose restrictions, people we spoke to said it has become a habit for them to follow health protocols such as wearing of face masks. They also said that if there is anything the COVID-19 pandemic has taught them, it is to not be complacent. Chrissy Di Matulak, CNN Philippines.
Government offices also have to restore full on-site work operations. The government is encouraging businesses to do the same. But as Amor Santos reports, some companies want to extend work-from-home incentives.
Long lines await those applying for driver's licenses at the Land Transportation Office in Quezon City on Tuesday. LTO Chief Edgar Galvante says LTO offices are back to full operations in Metro Manila and several other areas under Alert Level 1. Only employees with medical conditions are allowed to work from home.
Yung opisina namin, bukas lahat. Unless merong positive, medyo magre-restrict kami. Pero more or less sa ngayon, open na lahat.
But has this improved services?
Kulang, ang daming taong nag-aantay, yung dami nilang naaabala, ang bagal ng proseso.
Dumating ako dito mga alas 8 na, okay naman, pipila ka lang talaga.
Drivers Edgardo and Lamberto both turned 50 on Tuesday. They spent their birthday waiting to get their licenses renewed, unaware that the LTO has extended the validity of permits and licenses for 2 months.
Okay naman.
Normal naman ting ganito, lagi may pila. Kahit saan namang LTO.
Dapat nga mas mabilis kasi pag-transaksyon kami dito, naka-time in kami doon sa trabaho namin eh.
According to Trade Secretary Ramon Lopez, the government is also encouraging businesses to have their employees physically report to work.
Ina-encourage yung on-site presence, but work from home is still optional. Kasi may mga businesses na prove na efficient din yung may work from home. So ang mangyayari nito, hybrid. Ang benefit nito, yung mga negosyo sa paligid ng mga opisina, commercial establishment, nabubuhay pag mas maraming empleyado na mga pumapasok physically.
The Trade Department expects Alert Level 1 to bring back up to 500,000 jobs, a much-needed boost for the country's economic recovery efforts. But hundreds of companies in the information technology and business process management or IT BPM industries are pushing for the extension of work-from-home incentives. They say flexible work arrangements will sustain the growth of the country's IT BPM sector. Amor Santos, CNN Philippines.
The Health Department announced another 1,067 new COVID-19 cases and no new deaths. This is the first time since July 9, 2020, that there were 0 new fatalities logged, apart from the days that the government reported technical issues. The positivity rate also dropping to below 5% for the first time since December 29 at 4.3%. Meanwhile, there will be no more COVID-19 case tally beginning next week. Instead, the agency is poised to release a weekly update on the COVID-19 situation every 4 p.m. beginning next month, March 7th. Health Undersecretary Mario Rosario Vergeres says as part of the transition to the new normal, there will be a focus on the severity of infection and not the case count.
Mientras la crisis en Rusia.
Russia showing no signs of concession as it intensifies its assault in Kyiv, even after Ukrainian officials demanded a ceasefire. Satellite images show a massive 40-mile-long convoy of Russian forces reaching the outskirts of the embattled capital. At least 9 people were killed after Russia bombarded Kharkiv, the second largest city in Ukraine, with rockets. Several large detonations were heard in Kyiv on Monday amid supposed talks in Belarus. U.S. officials fear the worst is yet to come for Ukraine with a looming second wave of attacks, while the Philippines is set to convene security officials in an attempt to escalate response. President Duterte is leading a special meeting for the first time since the crisis broke out. Our Tristan Odalo reports.
President Rodrigo Duterte echoes the Philippine position at the United Nations General Assembly condemning Russia's incursion into Ukraine. The president has called for a special meeting to discuss the developments on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Mr. Duterte will be meeting with select cabinet officials, the military, and the Philippine National Police.
We have to tell the younger generations of what is at stake. Our plea in the plenary would really be to join the call for restraint and to de-escalate the violence. I will be calling for a special meeting. We will discuss about what is evolving or what's happening in Europe.
The Philippines has voted in favor of a United Nations General Assembly resolution condemning Russia's invasion of Ukraine. In a statement, the Foreign Affairs Department says the civilians must be protected and hostilities must come to an end. Meantime, 13 Filipinos who were able to cross the Poland border from Ukraine are expected to return to Manila on Tuesday. The Philippine Embassy in Poland adds that evacuating Filipinos from Ukraine is now an enormous challenge due to the ongoing crisis which has limited the modes of transportation.
To assure you that your embassy is here to assist you and to get you out of harm's way. So sana mas marami kaming makumbinsi sa inyo na umalis na sa Ukraine kasi sa totoo lang po, and as we keep telling all the Filipinos na nakamiting namin dito, Ukraine is not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same. So I think kailangan mag-isip, mag-decide.
Some Filipinos also evacuated from Ukraine to Moldova, Romania, and Hungary, but the DFA says that these Filipinos prefer to stay in these countries and wait it out until the conflict in Ukraine is over. Tristan Nodalo, CNN Philippines.
More stories ahead. An official belies claims the Caloocan local government revoked presidential candidate Isko Moreno's campaign permit for political reasons. And as the election campaign continues, COMELEC says it will disclose the general topics for its presidential and vice presidential debates. Details next. Welcome back to CNN Philippines. Presidential candidate Manila Mayor Isko Moreno cancels his motorcade in the city of Caloocan after the local government revoked his campaign permit. As Paulo Barcelon tells us, one Caloocan official is rejecting accusations the move may be politically motivated.
Manila Mayor Isko Moreno started his day early with a visit to the office of Malabon City Mayor Lenlen Oreta. It was a quick, cordial meeting outside City Hall, after which Moreno held a motorcade and met with local candidates and supporters in the city. This was supposed to be followed by a sortie in Caloocan City. Acción Democrático applied for a permit for a motorcade in Caloocan on February 28. It was initially approved, but a second letter was sent the same day saying the request has been denied because the motorcade route will fall under the jurisdiction of the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority. The City Hall letter cited MMDA guidelines that state motorcades are only allowed on weekdays and holidays from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Nasabihan na nila ang MMDA din, ang Caloocan, ng City Administrator, na binawi na raw nila yung permit dahil magkaka-traffic daw. So, syempre, hindi mo maaalis sa aming mag-isip na local politics ang maaaring naging dahilan.
Acción Democrático is fielding Congressman Egay Erice in the mayoral race against Congressman Dale Malapitan, son of incumbent Mayor Oka Malapitan, who's already on his third term. Malapitan's slate has endorsed Moreno's rival, former Senator Bongbong Marcos. Marcos held a 14-hour motorcade in Caloocan last February 19 and even campaigned in Moreno's bailiwick, Manila, the next day. In a statement, Caloocan City Administrator Oliver Hernandez said the motorcade permit denial was not politically motivated. Hernandez also said it cannot issue a permit for Acción Democrático without an application from the MMDA, which forced them to revoke the permit they prepared. The Moreno campaign confirms it canceled the planned Caloocan sortie as a result, but Moreno isn't bothered.
Sa ating mga kandidato sa Maynila, welcome kayo. Hindi nyo na kailangan ng permit. Mga kandidato senador, vice president, at saka mga party list at president.
In contrast, Senator Manny Pacquiao's motorcade in another part of Caloocan City pushed through today. Hernandez says Pacquiao was granted a permit because they complied with both MMDA and LGU requirements, and that their motorcade only passed through inner roads under their jurisdiction. Just yesterday, Pacquiao held a motorcade in Pasig, whose mayor, Vico Soto, is the executive vice president of Moreno's Acción Democrático. Paulo Barcelon, CNN Philippines.
Well, Senator Pacquiao urges the Commission on Elections to ease campaign restrictions under Alert Level 1. Pacquiao says people should be allowed to approach candidates for hugs and selfies. He adds giving souvenirs should no longer be prohibited. Other COMELEC rules include the ban on handshakes and kisses, as well as prohibiting candidates from entering the homes of residents.
I hope na marinig tayo ng COMELEC, mag-adjust sila para hindi naman mahirapan yung nangangampanya. Kaya nga tinawag itong kampanya, kailangan makipagkamay, makipag-peace bump ang isang kandidato. Luwag-luwagan naman nila. Pati yung pagbibigay ng mga t-shirt, pinagbabawal. Dapat mabago nila yung ano nila. Para ano naman, kapani-paniwala naman.
The capacity in indoor or outdoor campaign venues also remains at 70%, even under Alert Level 1. Vehicles joining motorcades may operate at full capacity, provided only candidates or campaign supporters who come from the same household share a ride.
As far as everything else is concerned, the campaigns, we're already at minimum health protocols, which wala naman na tayong marirelax pa dyan. Except yung siguro bilang ng tao na pwedeng pumasok sa mga venues natin. Still don't wanna do 100% because obviously may pandemya pa rin. Level 1 lang. In the meantime, we're still not in receipt of any formal request to relax our guidelines. No? So we will continue with the guidelines as they are.
COMELEC set to release the general topics for its upcoming presidential and vice presidential debates. The poll body spokesperson James Jimenez stresses it will not disclose specific questions ahead of the debates on March 19th and the 20th.
We would like the debates to be fair, and every candidate will have the opportunity to do whatever research they need to do in preparation for the debates.
For presidential candidate Calyodi de Guzman, there is no problem with disclosing general topics as long, he says, as specific questions will not be leaked. COMELEC will meet with the representatives of the candidates this week to agree on the general rules of the debates, as well as to address the concerns raised by the team of presidential hopeful Bongbong Marcos. It asked the poll body about discussing the format of succeeding debates.
Kasi ito ginagawa sa ibang bansa, particular sa Amerika, na lahat ng tatakbo roon sa debate ay talaga nag-usap-usap para pagdating sa debate, yung ground rules ay settled na. So walang problema roon, talagang ito yung sulat, talagang sumulat po tayo. Pero unfortunately hanggang ngayon, wala pa hong sagot sa amin ang COMELEC, wala pa.
Marcos's team had earlier denied confirming his attendance in the debate or in COMELEC's debate, saying that will depend on his schedule and the debate rules. Now, during the CNN Philippines presidential debate, candidates who showed up clashed over the country's mounting debt. And as CN Arcangel reports, all but one want to probe a particular government agency for corruption.
What is the significance of 11.7 trillion?
For Vice President Leni Robredo, former presidential spokesperson Ernesto Abella, and Senator Manny Pacquiao, borrowing money is good if it will fund key government programs.
Sinisiguro natin na pag tayo naupo bilang Pangulo, titingnan natin kung saan ito ginastos at sisiguraduhin natin na babayaran natin yung utang, sisiguraduhin natin na mapupunta siya sa dapat mapuntahan.
Hindi tayo dapat matakot sa utang. Because depende rin kung saan natin ilalagay. Kung aantabayan na natin yan, then we can actually supervise it and make it grow.
Okay lang mangutang kung may investment